So, the slap heard round the world. The infamous incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. I've waffled back and forth on whether I should comment or not. At this point, as I'm recording this video, it's almost a week after the incident, and what more can I possibly say that hasn't already been said? If you look at my social media feed, you'll see no mention of the slap heard round the world. Even Chris Rock himself has said he's still processing the incident and isn't ready to comment at length. I told myself when it first happened that I was going to be disciplined and concentrate on my own work. I told myself I wasn't going to look up articles about it or watch videos about the incident or listen to podcasts about the incident. I was just going to continue on with what I normally do and listen to my self development courses on filmmaking and writing. And I was just going to keep up my normal routine. Of course, that all went out the window, and I've done nothing all week but watch videos and read articles and listen to podcasts about the slap heard around the world. One commentator summed it up best. This is an incident that you can use to support whatever talking points or worldview that you have. I think it's safe to say that neither Will Smith nor Chris Rock came to the Oscars looking to pick a fight. Is it possible we can give both the benefit of the doubt? Will Smith snapped and used poor judgment, and it's possible that Chris Rock didn't know that Jada Smith has alopecia. I've heard it pointed out that it's ironic that Chris Rock made a documentary called Good Hair about Black women's relationship with their hair, and yet he made a crude joke about a Black woman's hair. But as one famous comedian pointed out, as stand-up comics, what you do is you read the room when you're at an event or a comedy show, and you look for people who stand out. There's a long tradition in the Black community of gentle and not so gentle insult humor. I co-wrote a book called All Jokes Aside, which is the autobiography of Raymond Lambert, co-founder of the legendary Chicago comedy club, All Jokes Aside, where a lot of Black comedians like Chris Rock got their start in the 1990s. Now, no one would want to sit up front when a legendary insult comic like the late Robin Harris, for example, went in on you. And I personally have been the butt of a stand-up comedian's jokes when I made the mistake of sitting up front at a comedy show. And let me tell you, it did not feel good. One commentator pointed out that Jada Pinkett's beautiful dress that she wore to the Oscars was green, and it looked like it zipped up in the front. So when Chris Rock came out to present the award for Best Documentary, maybe what flashed in his mind was military fatigues. And that combined with Jada's shaved head made him think of the G.I. Jane reference. As a writer and filmmaker, I understand that ideas come out of nowhere. They literally just pop into your head. People with creative minds tend to be very observant and often quick-witted. But of course, that does not excuse making a joke about someone's medical condition. I also have family members who have autoimmune disorders, but I can say in no uncertain terms that violence is never the answer if you want to stand up for someone who's suffering. Like millions of people, I grew up with Will Smith and Chris Rock's movies, TV shows, and music. They were a big part of my formative years, my youth and young adulthood. And as an African-American man, the incident involving the two entertainers really hits home for me, no pun intended. I have family members who remind me of Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith. I grew up listening to Will Smith songs like Parents Just Don't Understand, Girls of the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble, and Summertime. And while I wasn't a regular viewer of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, whenever I'd go to the barber shop and the TV was playing, I'd always enjoy catching reruns of the sitcom. One of my favorite movies of my young adulthood was Set It Off with Jada Pinkett Smith and that stellar all-female cast. And I remember watching Chris Rock in New Jack City and Saturday Night Live and movies like I Think I Love My Wife. Now, the title of that movie is, of course, very ironic now. There are many other weird ironies in this situation, including the fact that Will Smith portrayed perhaps the most famous boxer ever, Muhammad Ali, in the critically acclaimed biopic, and also had a hit song called I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson. New developments and rumors seem to come out every day concerning this incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock. As of this recording, Will Smith has just announced that he's resigned from the Motion Picture Academy. But Academy representatives have said they plan to proceed with some kind of disciplinary action against Smith anyway. What do I think would be an appropriate course of action for the Academy to take? I honestly don't know. How will Will Smith's career be affected by this incident? I would encourage you to check out an excellent, balanced article in Forbes magazine by Scott Mendelson that lays out the potential scenarios of what may happen to Will career-wise based on other actors of his caliber who have experienced public relations nightmares. What will ultimately happen with Will Smith's career remains to be seen. While assaulting Chris Rock is certainly wrong, I don't think it's fair to reduce someone's whole life and career based on one moment of bad judgment. It's been really interesting how this incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars has become yet another issue that has divided the already sharply divided United States along racial lines. Some people have fiercely defended Will Smith, standing up for his wife, and minimized his assault on Chris Rock as a, quote, gentleman's slap. This is, of course, an oxymoron. There's no such thing. If you're putting your hands on someone in anger, that's not gentlemanly. On the other hand, no pun intended, Will Smith is one of those celebrities that mainstream society seems to perceive as having transcended race. And this incident has shown that there's no such thing. It's been disturbing how quick some people have been to demonize and criminalize Will Smith, someone who, to my knowledge, has no previous history of erratic behavior or brushes with the law as other celebrities that I could name, but won't. There are lessons that we all can draw from this infamous incident at the Oscars, not the least of which is to be careful about oversharing on social media. Will and Jada have been the targets of relentless mockery since sharing on Jada's Red Table Talk show on Facebook about their marital issues. Celebrities are sort of in a catch-22 when it comes to their personal lives. If they're protective of their privacy, they can come across as aloof and unrelatable. But if they share too much, then you have the Smiths as exhibit A of what can happen. Another lesson is that cliches that we were taught as children, use your words. Sometimes it's best to just walk away. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And of course, turn the other cheek, actually have a lot of truth and wisdom. Since this incident at the Oscars with Will Smith and Chris Rock happened, many of us have thought about how we would react in the situation. As a writer, I've also been comparing myself to contemporaries, such as Jemele Hill, who wrote an excellent piece in The Atlantic about the incident that I would encourage you to check out. In the article, Jemele describes how she was on an airplane during the Oscars, and when she got off the plane and turned on her phone, she found that she had over 650 text messages alerting her about the incident from family and friends. In comparison, only 2 friends have texted or direct messaged me to seek my opinion about the Will Smith Chris Rock episode. I'm not sure how to take the lack of interest in my opinion on the incident. Maybe it's a good sign that my friends, especially those of other races, are being conscientious by not putting me on the spot and asking me to comment about an incident that I had nothing to do with just because I'm Black. And maybe people understand that I'm a person who avoids conflict and is not messy, meaning that in general, I stay out of trouble and don't get involved in drama. But looking at it a different way, it sort of makes me question whether I'm relevant and if nobody's checking for me or cares about my hot take on such a buzzworthy trending topic. People have speculated about Will Smith's mental health and commented on the fact that Chris Rock has been in therapy for years about being bullied growing up. And it's interesting that on the day of the Oscars, I posted a YouTube video about mental health in the Black community. Now, I promise you I'm not clairvoyant. It's just a strange coincidence. Also, when the Oscar nominations were announced in February, I made a YouTube video and a lengthy post on social media about how I forgot to nominate the documentary I directed, Lady Wrestler, about the brave African American women who integrated pro wrestling in the 1950s. I forgot to nominate it for an Oscar. I forgot to submit it to the Academy for consideration. Now, of course, Questlove very deservedly won the Oscar for Best Documentary for his excellent Summer of Soul concert film. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of just a handful of movies that I actually saw in a theater in 2021 when the pandemic was raging. But even if I had nominated my documentary for an Oscar and through some kind of miracle actually won, my big moment would have been overshadowed by this unfortunate incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock because it happened just before the Oscar for Best Documentary was presented. And it's unfortunate that Will Smith's Best Actor win for his portrayal of Richard Williams, Venus and Serena's devoted father in the movie King Richard, and so many other historic wins that took place that night at the Oscars have been overshadowed by this ugliness. As I said in my social media post when the Oscar nominations first came out, the lyrics to one of my favorite songs by the Brand New Heavies sums up the situation. Dream on, dreamer. Life gets in your way. If you like this video, please leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to my channel.